Welcome to part 2 of my New Zealand adventure series. In part 2, we visit the world-famous Hobbiton homestead and then head to Rotorua for our overnight stop. We abandoned our bus and hopped on board one of the official Hobbiton tour buses, which took a full busload to the area of the buildings along with a guide. Prior to the start of the tour, the girls wanted their pics and video in front of the famous sign. They returned the favor with me posing in front of the sign just like a real tourist. The bus made its way to the tour site, driving along a narrow, winding road. Along the way, we got a glimpse of the farmhouse of the owner of this property. This is the staging area and the starting point of the tour. As you can see, Ignacio is getting in on the touristy stuff. This was our first glimpse of the Hobbiton homestead. We walked past pretty much all of the buildings, and our guide gave us so much information and details about each building that it became a bit overwhelming after a while. Showing you each building one by one becomes a bit boring and repetitive, so I'll show you some general shots and some close-ups as needed. There is already a lot of detailed information online about this area, and true fans can research and read all the information they want.
Starts all the way up there, where that group is there, by the green door, because that is where Bilbo Baggins wakes up one morning.
Most of the houses here are just facades, but there are some actual interiors to some of the buildings, and we'll enter and take a look at some of them a little bit later on in this tour. There in the distance, you can see the Green Dragon Inn. It burned down in the movie and had to be rebuilt so as to complete this whole site as per the original movie. We were allowed to enter this one building and have our picture taken. This was my turn. Soon after, the skies opened up and we had a torrential downpour for about 5 minutes and we all got soaked. The umbrellas only provided limited protection for us. The rains eased a bit, and this was one of the buildings we could enter, and it had an actual interior with rooms and all the furnishings you would expect inside a typical Old English cottage.
Come on inside. Come on through. Enjoy yourself, cleaning a seat. And I like your guide was saying, the door on the other end.
We made our way to the adjacent building using this connecting corridor, and we saw more furnished rooms in there. With one last look at the interiors, we all exited the building. The rains had eased quite a bit while we were inside, and it was just a fine mist at this point. This was the end of the guided tour, and our guide told us that the entrance fee includes a drink at the Green Dragon Inn. As such, we all made our way down to the inn on a road called the Merry Meander Road. I've always said that I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. Well, I had to cross this bridge because I came to it. According to our guide, the buildings in this area are the only thatch roof buildings outside of England. Let me know if it's true in the comments below, please. Here is our group enjoying their free beer and stout. I don't drink, so I gave my stout to Morton. Here are some general views of the exterior of these buildings. This is a view looking back at the homesteads from in front of the Green Dragon Inn across the pond known as the Water.
These houses immediately by the lakeside are the last houses we see on this tour today that were actually built. Depending on the region in the extent,
There was a wedding going on in the distance, and according to our guide, weddings here can cost as little as 25,000 New Zealand dollars, all the way up to a record $250,000. For that much money, the whole cast of Lord of the Rings better show up, or I would want a refund. After the tour ended, we all visited the gift shop to see what unnecessary stuff we could spend our money on. Some of these figurines ran from as little as $100 to well over $1,000 each, and some of the expensive ones were already sold out. This place gets many visitors from all around the world, including many Asian countries, so I was amused to see this sign in the restroom. After the tour ended, we made our way to the town of Rotorua for a 2-night stay. We stayed at the Haka Lodge, which was right across the Kuirau Park, which has several hot water pools. I saw this beautiful pukeko bird just wandering and feeding in the park. I had seen many of these birds along our route over the last few days, but this was my first time seeing one up fairly close. It was still a little cold in the morning, and in the distance you can see the steam rising from the several hot water pools located in this park. I was still a little ways away from the pools, but I could already detect the faint smell of sulfur in the air. This is one of 2 hot water foot baths. A maintenance worker explained that the water coming up from the ground is so hot that they have to mix it with cold water to make it bearable before releasing it into the pools. And people just come and sit on the wooden benches and dangle their feet in the hot water. I encounter my first hot water pool. Note the warning signs about the temperature. Due to the cold temperatures of the morning, the steam rising was more dramatic than it would have been on a warm day. This pool clearly shows an ingress of hot water from an underground source. Nearby, there was this bubbling, muddy water pool. Once again, you can clearly see the steam rising from this hot water.